The Chosen One's Journey by DragonWolf12. Ash stood, staring at the vast acreage that was the Safari Zone. "This is really cool," Misty commented, coming to stand next to Ash. "Hey, I'm going to go fishing." She ran off towards a nearby pool. "This place is huge," Brock said, gazing around in astonishment. "How do they expect us to be able to get to the farthest places in a single day?" Ash hummed to himself as he took the rulebook out of his box. Skimming through it, a grin grew on his face. "What?" Brock asked. "There isn't a rule forbidding using your own Pokemon to travel farther and faster," Ash said as he pulled a Pokeball from his belt. He tossed it in the air and released his Pidgeot. "I'm going to go check out the mountain areas." Ash leapt on the bird Pokemon's back, and they flew off. "Are we searching for anything specific?" Pidgeot asked. "Not that I know of. I'm just following my aura," Ash responded. "Also, I figure the rarer Pokemon are usually found deeper in where fewer trainers go." They flew on in silence for a few minutes. "Land down in that valley," Ash finally said. Tucking in her wings, Pidgeot went into a steep dive, drawing whoops of glee from Ash and Pikachu. Once she had landed, Ash hopped off and gave her a few strokes under her crest feathers before returning her. Promptly sitting down in a lotus position, Ash fell into a meditation. Stretching out with his aura, he took note of all the mines in the area. Across the valley were hundreds of Pokemon, ranging in types, shapes, and sizes. It was impossible to tell what any of the Pokemon were, unless they had wholly unique type combinations. Ash registered each mine he passed, barely touching any of them. What Ash was doing wasn't aura sight, but more of an aura sense. At the moment, his aura sight was limited to approximately 500 meters, less than half a mile. But this aura sense, while limited, had a range of 3 to 4 kilometers, or 2 to 2.5 miles, depending on how many obstacles were in the way. As his mind swept through the valley, 4 distinct auras leapt out at him. Each one was different, but all somehow calling out to him. One was a bug and flying type, one a fire type, one a dragon type, and one a normal type. He knew that these were the ones he was going to capture. One by one, he touched each Pokemon's aura, and they responded. First he sensed surprise, then slight resignation that was quickly overshadowed by excitement. As one, all 4 Pokemon started moving towards him. Ash sat quietly, focusing his aura in his usual meditations, while keeping an eye on the approaching Pokemon. After a while, a nearby bush started shaking. Ash's eyes snapped open, and he looked towards the source. It was a Growlithe. The puppy Pokemon came bounding out of the tree line and all but tackled Ash, pushing him on his back and licking him in the face repeatedly. "Gah!" Ash yelled as he toppled. Okay, stop! Yes, it's good to see you too." Ash finally managed to push the excited fire-type off of himself. Nearby, Pikachu was rolling on the ground laughing. Ash scowled at the mouse Pokemon before a mischievous gleam entered his eye. As Pikachu finally managed to sit up, he saw Ash whispering something in Growlithe's ear. The puppy Pokemon's ear pricked slightly, and he looked right at Pikachu. The electric type gulped as he saw the gleam in Growlithe's eyes before bolting, Growlithe in hot pursuit. "Damn you, Ash!" Pikachu yelled as he ran from the excited puppy. Now Ash was the one laughing. As the Aura Guardian in training calmed down, he heard a rustling to his left. Turning, he watched as a Scyther stepped out from behind a bush. It glared at him, raising its bladed arms. Ash tensed slightly, recognizing the challenge. Scyther lunged at him and tried to slash him across the chest. Acting on instinct, Ash rolled back and leapt to his feet. Not one to give up, Scyther kept up the attack, slashing at Ash again and again. Letting the aura guide his actions, Ash started dodging all of the attacks that Scyther made. This lasted for 15 minutes, until Scyther finally tired out. He sat down on the ground hard, panting heavily. Ash stepped up to the Mantis Pokemon and laid a hand on his shoulder to initiate an aura bond. "You are a very powerful Pokemon," Ash thought. "If you join me, I can train you to be even more powerful and give you strong opponents to battle. What do you say?" The Bug-type eyed him for a moment, before nodding and sealing the bond. Ash smiled and pulled a Safari Ball from the box and captured Scyther. Refocusing back on his surroundings, Ash saw the Growlithe sitting next to Pikachu, and another Pokemon, an Eevee. All three were watching him. "Where did the Eevee come from?" Ash asked Pikachu over the bond. "He arrived about 5 minutes ago," Pikachu said. Ash walked up to the two other Pokemon. "Hello there," he said, petting both of the dog-like Pokemon. They leaned into his hand, enjoying his administrations. After petting them for a few minutes, he initiated an aura bond with both. Growlithe accepted the bond instantly, with Eevee only 5 seconds behind. Once he captured both of them, he looked around, searching for the final aura presence he detected. It felt close, but there was no sign of it. Suddenly, the air was rent with a shrieking of, "Bagon! Bagon! Bagon! Bagon!" Looking up, Ash saw a small blue Pokemon with a silver plate on his skull falling from the sky and flailing its stubby little arms. "What in the world?" He didn't get any further as the Pokemon crashed into his chest. "Ouch!" Ash groaned as he pushed the little Pokemon off of his chest. Sitting up, he blinked at the falling menace as it stared at him. "You're a Bagon," Ash said in surprise. He recalled from the research he'd done on Bagon. Their dream was to one day fly, and they would often launch themselves off of cliffs trying to fly. They were incredibly rare Pokemon from the Hoenn region, evolving into the powerful dragon Pokemon Salamence. "Do you want to come with me?" Ash asked. "I can train you to become powerful and help you evolve into a Salamence faster." It studied him for a moment, before nodding. Ash bonded to him, before catching him in a Safari Ball. Dusting himself off, Ash stood and tossed another Pokeball into the air. With a flash of blue light, Dragonair appeared. Ash leapt onto his back, and they flew off back towards the gate. As they were passing over a lake with a waterfall in it, something exploded out of the water. It was another Dragonair. Ash's Dragonair shot its eyes wide open. "Meemaw?" he asked. The other Dragonair nodded and started cooing and nuzzling Ash's. "You mean this is your mother?" Ash asked in awe. His Dragonair nodded. Ash looked closely at the other Dragonair and saw a small X-shaped scratch on her horn. "How do you know?" Ash asked. "Instinct," he replied silently. Ash smiled, seeing the mother-child reunion. "I'll leave you two alone. Catch up with me later," he said. He stood and leapt off the dragon Pokemon's back while releasing Pidgeot from her Pokeball. Landing on her back, they continued on their way to the Safari Zone gate. Landing, he saw a smiling Brock and Misty waiting for him. "Hey guys," Ash greeted. "Did you catch anything?" "Yeah, I caught the cutest little Poliwag and an adorable Tentacool," Misty gushed. Ash and Brock's sweat dropped. A cute Tentacool? "And then there was this adorable little brown fish Pokemon," Misty continued. "It just came flopping out of the pool like a Magikarp, but he was so cute I had to catch him." "Do you want to look it up?" Ash asked, tossing her his Pokedex. She nodded and waved it over one of the Safari Balls she had on her. "Scan," she said. A picture of the ugliest brown fish Ash had ever seen appeared on the screen. He exchanged a look with Brock and could tell they were thinking the same thing. Feebas, the fish Pokemon. Although extremely ragged, it is a tough Pokemon that can live in almost any kind of water. This Feebas is female and has the ability Swift Swim. She knows the moves Splash and Tackle. She also has the egg move Dragon Pulse, but it has not been unlocked yet. Brock was struggling not to laugh, but Ash's eyes had widened as he remembered what Feebas evolved into. "Misty, have you ever heard of a Pokemon called Melodic?" Ash asked. "Of course! Watermaster Wallace has a Melodic. It's his signature Pokemon," Misty said. "Well, few people realize it, but Feebas evolve into Melodic," Ash explained. "But in order for them to evolve, they need to find a trainer who appreciates their true inner beauty as a Feebas." Misty's eyes widened. "Do you mean that I could have my own Melodic?" she asked in awe. "If you raise it properly, yes," Ash said. Misty stared at him in shock, unable to comprehend what she was hearing.